Trip 2. What happens next? So now your Bruins cap space. Right now, there's some talk that maybe that the next move would have to be a roster player to go, a core member to go, some bigger trade than usual. It would probably have to be the next step if they don't come out and play a little bit. Now, right now, you can see if you're watching on YouTube that they don't have a ton of cap space, less than $1 million. In a lot of contracts there that they've just given out, long-term contracts, high money contracts, no movement clauses, and the like. Now, no movement clauses don't necessarily prohibit trades. I mean, they can trade people still, but if the player okays it. But what happens now, especially if they come out and really, let's say they lose to Utah, like what happens then?
I mean, I'm all in on the tank, baby.
Yeah.
Tankapalooza 2024.
What if that happens? Right? I mean,
James Higgins.
Yeah. What if they lose to Utah and then they go to Detroit, where they haven't played all that well the last couple of years, and they lose that one, like they use 2 more? Like what happens then? Then you'd have to believe that now we're into Thanksgiving. Now we're into outside of a playoff spot. And what happens then? I mean, it would have to be some sort of trade. And I still think there probably will be a trade, even if they win a couple of games here. I think there's still trades in the works, and I think something is going to happen. Because just from what Sweeney was saying about himself and how he's kind of on the clock now and he's kind of, under the magnifying glass, that I think that he's working it right now and probably putting Team Canada to the side and working on his own team right now.
Yeah, I think so. I think he has to be looking at something in order to improve the roster. And you have a bunch of guys who are, unrestricted free agents or even restricted free agents. I also heard a tidbit today that Swayman's no move doesn't kick in till year 3. So that's interesting.
Right.
That's interesting.
And it's interesting that they put that in, that they put that in the contract. Almost like you're likely to believe that, hey, let's get the contract done. And if it doesn't work out, we'll ship you out.
It's interesting,
isn't it?
Especially with all the rumblings now coming up kind of behind the scenes that maybe some people weren't particularly thrilled with the way he handled those negotiations. Maybe you see a guy like him on the way out, especially if Korpisalo gets the nets, against Utah, plays well. If he gets the net again in Detroit and plays well.
Yeah. Maybe you see what you can get for Swayman.
Now maybe you see what you can get for Swayman and kick, 8.25 off the books.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, can you get, let's play the game. Can you get a first round pick for Jeremy Swayman?
I would think so.
So you get a first rounder for Jeremy Swayman from a team that's, who knows? Maybe you get a top 15 pick out of it.
I mean, you got a first rounder for Allmark,
right?
Plus players,
right? Plus players.
So I would think you would be able to get a first for Swayman.
Yeah,
he's much younger. He's locked up now. The cap's going to go up. So the contract in a few years is not going to be nearly as top heavy as it is now.
Sure.
So
maybe you get 2 firsts, one this year, one next.
I mean, keep coming, baby.
Yeah, seriously.
So if things continue to deteriorate with him personally, or if he continues to play poorly, or if the team itself, continues to play poorly, that I think there's going to be some things maybe coming down the line. I think producer Connor wants to chime in here.
Yeah, he's
so on the Jeremy Swayman front, I do have a thought. Look no further than tomorrow night's opponent, the Utah Hockey Club. They really don't have an answer long-term in net. They have the new ownership group taking over the Arizona Coyotes IP, if you will. And they have an absolute monstrosity of draft picks. and young talent that they could put a package together for a person like Jeremy Swayman. Tons of first round picks, tons of second round draft picks for the next 3 years.
And they stink. So it could be a top 15 pick, right? You know?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Connor Ingram, I think, has played pretty well for them.
Okay.
But I don't know. I mean, Wamelka, I think I can't.
Yeah, he's
their other goalie,
been in the
but-
league a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, actually, Ingram's 6'4" and 3 with a 3.61.
Oof.
So that's not great.
No.
And 871.
Oh, not great at all.
And Vamelka is 1-4 with a 2.58 and a 9.15. So that's
Right.
decent, even though they haven't won. Wamelka is 28, and Connor Ingram is 27. So they're both similar in age.
Yeah. So Swayman at 25,
Yeah.
could be a franchise altering kind of move for them.
Yeah, that could be.
So
that could be something.
that
for
could
them.
line right up, and they're right in town. You know, we'll see what happens. You know, I wonder if they play Swayman to showcase him against them. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's an interesting thing. Along the same lines of players possibly on the move.